Hello, this is Kat. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I was kindly tagged in a Count My Blessings in Books original tag from the channel In Search of Wonder. And I am really excited to do something like this close to the Thanksgiving season, and really had to think about some of these questions. So there are 6 questions. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the first question says, count them one by one. Prompt is to literally count my books, and I did not count all the books that I own. Some books are like teacher books and by devotionals and reference materials, or collections, and then my husband's books. So I decided just a rough estimate by counting the books on the shelves in my living room and a few that I had in my office. I would say I counted about 102, excluding like the references and some of my husband's books and collections and all of that. So that was the answer to question number 1. Question 2 says, life-changing books. What are some books that changed you or profoundly impact you in a positive way? Okay, so I have a few. The first one I'm actually going to talk about is a box set, and there we go. It's a box set, but this is essentially Marie Kondo, which she had a show on Netflix. But it's her books. One's called Spark Joy, an illustrated master class on the art of organizing and tidying up, and the other one is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, the Japanese art of decluttering and organizing. So these 2 books kind of go hand in hand, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Marie Kondo, but she had a show on Netflix, and that's where we kind of found her. And she essentially has her own system to declutter items within the home. So I got this probably the start of 2020, or maybe it was after the start of 2020. But I was in a major like decluttering phase, and I enjoyed watching how she did her process specifically with clothing. And I'm naturally a tidy person. I like to have my closet even organized in a good, in a specific way, and I would try different systems. I've tried even the hanger. You turn your hangers over in the closet, like where it's facing a certain way, and as you wear the item you flip the hanger over, and then you see after a month or so what items you gravitated towards. I've tried, there's this app called Stylebook that you could literally take pictures of clothes in your closet and put the amount that it costs, and then it does like an analysis for you, cost per wear, to see like what I'm spending my money on was worth it with certain items. And so I've done all of that. So I picked this book up and actually used some of the methods that she has. So the first one talks about, basically specific categories of decluttering. And the other book is actually goes more into specifics, but it also has diagrams to even how to fold clothing, or how to fold sheets, things about CDs and DVDs, which are pretty, basically are going out of style now. But yeah, there's just lots of things in here that even talks about sentimental stuff, and so it breaks it down by category. So I really enjoyed reading these and going through some of this within my own home. It made me feel more content with the items that I did have, and though I still like shopping, now I find myself not wanting to spend as much as I used to, and really think about the clothing that I do have, really using what is already in my closet. And not just clothing, she talks about appliances, sentimental values, which are really hard for me because those are like photos or even artwork from students that I've had in the past, and just little things, notes that I've written to my husband back and forth in college. And she just categorizes things very well. And books were also on that list. But it did open a sense of like gratitude for what I have, really thinking about what I'm spending my money on. And I would recommend, if you are a person who is very tidy or organized, and you're just looking for a method that is different, and I won't say it's super sustainable because I've fallen back to like for certain things, like how I did my system in the kitchen, I'm still like figuring things out. But as far as like, it helped with decluttering and really thinking about what is a useful system for me, like in certain parts, I guess, if that makes sense. So I would recommend it. There is a section though, she talks about spiritual items there that I don't agree with. But if you just look at it from a systems point of view, as far as like, if you know you have a lot of clothing or even books, I think this is pretty cool to go through and even try out. It can look overwhelming, and I think I would not have done this had it not been for all that time we stayed at home during the pandemic. But during that time, I was able to really declutter and figure out like what it is I wanted to keep and whatnot. So anyway, that was a little long-winded there. So the second book that really impacted me was Love Where You Live, and this is by Shauna Pilgreen. How to Live Sent in the Place You Call Home. And this is all about talking about the place where you live, where God has placed you in this community around you. How, as simple as learning who your neighbors are, being in tune with those surrounding you where you live. Basically, it's all about community. So it has like diagrams in here as well. Well, as a few diagrams, but it's as simple as like, what do you love about your town? What bothers you? What would you change? What seems just right? Like little questions here, and then like it has a verse for each chapter, and then usually a little dwelling tip. This one says, leave the door open in the apartment complex while cooking dinner. Even if the dog leads the way, his owner will have to have a conversation. So it's just like little tips like that. I found some tips in here that were pretty useful, and I've even where we live currently, I had this grand idea that it was just going to be a short-term living situation. It was going to be our 5-year house plan, and we were going to go get a bigger and better house somewhere else. And since reading this book and looking at where God has placed me, I realize more and more to be content in the season where I'm at, and it just makes it more like joyful to where I am living now, and I'm not just constantly looking for the bigger, better things. So I really recommend that book. And then the last book real quick is Mission Drift by Peter Greer and Chris Horst, and this is a great book I've talked before on my channel that has really changed my perspective and how I do ministry. It really helped me when I took on certain ministries within the church, and then ministries, even how I see my job as a ministry, and ministry outside, the church and everything. So would recommend that book. Okay, Number 3 says special editions. What are some editions and copies that you really love? First edition, special editions, cloth, hardback, leather bound, signed, or is it a book that is very valuable to you for sentimental reasons? Okay, so I have 2. First one is a Tessa F. Sharp book, and this is the 10th year anniversary one, and it has this pretty gold foiling, and she updated a few things in there, but I love this edition. I love this rose gold foiling, and the texture is pretty soft, and I think it's just a beautiful picture of her version of Ruth, and so that's one. The other one that I have is this one. This is Little Women, and it also has that gold foiling and that pretty green color, that mint green. Love that color. And essentially it's a mixed media. So you have your text on this side, and you have like little flaps within here that has like letters that the characters have written, and so it's as if you're reading from the letters that these characters have in the book, like you're actually enjoying that immersive experience or being immersed within the story. So I love reading Little Women through this way, and I know that there's different books that have been curated by different people, and so I got the Little Women one, but I absolutely loved it, so I think it's beautiful. Number 4, gifted books. Books you love that others have gifted you. I have 2 books for this one, and these 2 are The Love Dare. This is from the movie Fireproof, and they came up with a book that is essentially the book that was used in the movie. If you're not familiar with the movie, it is a movie about this couple who is essentially about to go through a divorce, and the husband gets advice from his dad to ultimately have a way to save the marriage. And if he just completes day by day what the book says and read the verse, essentially it's like the dad helping his son find what the real meaning of love is. And it has the verse back here, 1 Corinthians 13, 7 through 8. So it's a really good, heartwarming movie. I love watching it with my husband, but essentially my sister gifted us this book when we got married, and these are the little challenges within the book to do daily, as long as a verse, and you journal. But I did do this, and I enjoyed doing different things that this recommended. So the other book that was gifted is Keepers of the Treasure, Create a Godly Heritage by Joanne Summers, and this is actually my pastor's wife. She wrote a book, and I love the wisdom she puts in here. I've tabbed it, I've highlighted it. It's just wonderful. It's basically what's a godly woman, essentially, and it's just wisdom and things that she's gone through, what she's learned, and I am very thankful for the book that she gifted me. All right, this one, The Blessing of a Book. How has reading benefited you in your life? Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Okay, so reading has benefited my life since 2020. It just helps me to unwind sometimes. My husband and I do like to read, usually at night, right before bed, and it just helps us calm down from, the stresses of the day, or even just get us in that really good headspace, just calming down instead of just being on our phones. And I realized reading before bed does help me sleep better. So usually, but it depends on the book, right? So that has helped me like emotionally, mentally. I guess those are kind of lumped together. Spiritually, reading not just the Bible, but just nonfiction, Christian nonfiction. I like learning a lot. I like to apply it to life. I know I could do a lot more applying, but just having the tools to help me have a starting point are very like beneficial for me. But reading has helped me spiritually, and especially like nonfiction, and go through with a friend or with my husband what we've read and how we could apply it, and even get different ideas how to do that. And great for conversation, great for growing, seeing things in different perspectives and different lights. So there you go. Last one says, friends, the greatest blessing. Do you have in real life friends that love to talk books with you? And yes, I do. My husband is one, and I know that he's an answer to a lot of these questions. My husband and I were real like best friends. Essentially, like we married our best friend. So he has been through a lot with me. I really value his opinion, and I know that he values mine. And so he is a real life person I would enjoy talking books with. I think that answers the question well enough. So we're at the end of the video, and the one last section says to tag book 2 people. I would like to see who has not been tagged. I'm not sure who hasn't. I just recently saw a couple of more came out, and haven't been able to watch videos as much as I would want to lately. So I'm pretty sure I haven't seen one from Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails. So I want to tag her. And I don't think I've seen one or a video recently from Tay. I don't know if she's busy, but I would tag her. I am going to tag whoever would like to do it. And if you would just want to put in the comments your answers, that's great too. Would love to see that. I will talk to you guys in another video. Bye.